first speaker is a good friend of mine that I've known for a while. We've done a couple of fitness events together, self-improvement events, but mostly physical, martial arts, and I do consider a really good friend. So I do want to introduce the first speaker of the night, Jonathan. So he'll be speaking about martial artists, warrior mindset, men's self-improvement, but in general, the lessons can be applicable towards anybody, men and women. So I'll just hand the mic off to you. Sounds good, brother?
Thank you, bros.
Sounds good.
How's everyone doing?
So just do 5 minutes and I'll time you, okay?
Wonderful. Excellent. First of all, I'd like to take this opportunity to, first of all, wish a happy birthday to my friend Johnny right here. And most importantly, I'd like to thank him for hosting this amazing event. Let me give you like a quick rundown of how we met, because we go back a long time, a long way. So we met Johnny at a networking app, and from the moment we clicked, I knew this guy has a vision. He wants to assemble as many people as possible with one goal, specifically self-development towards a bright future for each and every one of you. And looking at all of you guys here, I could just tell you guys made the best choice of your life coming here today. This event is a revolutionary event in Ottawa, which is going to transform your lives for the better. For those who don't know me, I'll introduce you myself a little bit, because who's this guy in the suit, the watch? My name is Jonathan Isaacov, aka some people call me the Banana Fighter. Why the Banana Fighter? I'll tell you later. But I've had the opportunity to start up a movement, an empire, a company, helping both men and women transform their lives, make their lives and mental state more tougher, prepared for life, to face any challenges they have. This movement is called Banana Fighter Fit. I had the blessings by the God above to be tested in entrepreneurship, but also in fighting. I've had the opportunity to test myself in 8 fights, including exhibition MMA, kickboxing, and even a boxing match. And what's interesting is that when I was getting into entrepreneurship, I took all the lessons that I took from fighting, from my fight career. Because the fighting lessons that I had, those are the ones who built me, toughened me. But the entrepreneurship lessons, the instructor lessons, all my experience as I was instructing people to do self-defense move, learn how to defend themselves, those exact moments defined me, thanks to the fight stories. So today, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to be uncovering deep secrets never told before to any of my students, any of my friends, any of my family, about what secret lessons they learn through my fights and how it built me to the man I'm standing today in front of you. First of all, let me explain something to you guys. Many people, they misunderstand the concept about martial arts. They think it's only about punches, kicks, takedowns, blocks. They think it's all the moves, Karate Kid. But there's a deeper meaning of martial arts. If you dig deeper inside the rabbit hole, there's a secret that nobody knows about martial arts until they actually discover this secret. You see, life is not fair. As much as I don't really like to say it, but I like to say it at the same time. I'll explain why. Life likes to throw challenges at you for a reason. But the most important thing is not only just to be able to take it, but are you able to go forward with it after you take the punch, aka the challenges that life has to throw at you. This is what martial arts teaches you. It doesn't only prepare you for the ring or for the cage or for a backyard fight. The real fight is inside of you, the mind. So now I would like to start the first fight story, which was my second exhibition fight. It was my second MMA fight many, many years ago. And it was a pivotal event that completely transformed my life, my fight career, for the rest of my life. I have to admit, for that fight specifically, I wasn't really prepared. I didn't train hard enough. I skipped some trainings. My coach told me, you gotta train 3 times per day. There was sparring, there was kickboxing, there was the grappling, where we have to wrestle and stuff like that. I only attended the grappling classes and some of kickboxing. So physically, I wasn't really prepared for the fight. And deep inside, as I was getting ready for the fight, if you can call it getting ready, deep inside I felt something was going to come up as the fight day approached. I didn't just know what it is yet, but I had this gut feeling. Sooner enough, as fight day approached, they matched me up against a tall, capable opponent. He was ready. I knew right away that I was about to challenge one of the biggest opponents in my life. This guy, I could tell that he wasn't there to play. He was there to hurt me. He wasn't playing around anymore. Plus, he had a very solid team backing him up. And so right away, fast forward, as I'm about to walk out to the cage and they're about to call out my name, I'm in the staircase leading to the cage by myself. Gloves up already, shin pads, everything. My heart started racing. My heart actually dropped. In my head, I started to realize I'm about to walk into a slaughterhouse, literally. And then I remembered a very interesting conversation I had with my father, who, by the way, he was driving me to the arena the same day for the fight. And we had a discussion. And since I wasn't really prepared, I asked Father, Dad, can you give me a fight trick, fight tip for this upcoming fight? He didn't give me a lot. Not a lot of tips. But he did look at me very seriously with the most serious stare I ever had from my father. And he just said, you hit him as hard as you can. And since I remembered this discussion that I had with him minutes before they were about to announce my name to go into the cage, I understood. Yes, I'm about to challenge one of the biggest and most capable opponents I ever faced yet. However, we had 300 people looking. So what's the point of backing down? How is it going to look on me? I have to go through it. And I only need to use the tools that were available to me, which I trained, which is my wrestling, because I attended only wrestling classes, and some of my punching strength. Sooner enough, when they called my name, I walked up to the cage. I felt my heart drop. I also even felt my oxygen, my stamina drop to 20% capacity. I literally felt that I'm fighting with an empty tank. Not even that. I also felt like my hands were so heavy, as if weights were attached to them. So I was literally fighting a tough opponent who was ready to go all in, no mercy. But I also was fighting incapacitated, stamina-wise, power-wise, mentally-wise. The fight starts. I remember landing a few good shots to the body, even catching him one in the head, which he didn't expect because he was a taller opponent, and I was mainly going for the body. Every time he was coming at me with punches, with kicks, anything, I was taking him down, using my wrestling, using every bit of stamina I have. But then I made one of the greatest mistakes I ever made in a fight. I let my ego take over me. And I attempted a very fancy spinning kick which I had no business in attempting. Because as soon as I did that, he predicted it, caught my kick and swept me, took me down, and then immediately mounted me before I even knew it. Because the next thing I know, I have this opponent on top of me, smothering me in a barrage of punches and pinning me down and not letting me get out from the mount. And I was trying to fight out, hip toss him out, push him out, but he just kept going in with a barrage of punches. And at that point, as I'm lying down, trying to scramble out, my mind was literally at 99% quitting capacity. I was literally about to quit or pass out. I don't know. At the time, it was super overwhelming. But then something whispered in my mind, fight. You just gotta get through it. And I kept repeating to myself as I was trying to escape. And then something interesting clicked in my mind, a mindset shift. The first lesson. I felt like an injured animal at that moment. Imagine you see an injured dog or a raccoon or a bird. When you try to touch it, it's gonna fight back. Even if it's injured. Out of desperation to survive. And at that moment, I felt like an injured animal. Desperately trying to fight out my way and push through. So I went for a very desperate move, a calculated risk. As he was mounting me, I reached out to my arm so he could grab it and go for an armbar submission, which he tried to attempt. But as soon as he did that, I slipped out last second because I was slippery, I was quick, and I was desperate. Very well calculated move. So we're back on the feet. And I just carried this mentality throughout the rest of the fight. I knew that I had to give everything till the end, even if it means I'm going to faint there. But there's no quitting there. And so when the last round bell rang and the fight was over, I felt something very special that day, which completely changed my life. I felt accomplished. I felt reborn from the ashes, broken but rebuilt back up. So here's my first lesson to you. Your mind quits first before your body does. Have a strong mind and your body will reward you. Think about this. Imagine you went through something hard in your life, a hardship. It can be in business, relationships, or just in life. And when you got through it, you felt like accomplished, but not because of the victory, not because of the reward, but because of the transformation that led to the reward. That's what I felt during that time. Now, next lesson. This is going to be for my third MMA fight. It was months after my second fight. But this time, I was training my ass off. My coach didn't give me no breaks. Matter of fact, he even took me through what I call hell training. It's the most punishing and gruesome training you can ever imagine. And I was training alongside very capable fighters. So mentally and physically, I was prepared for the third fight. Little did I know, I had a surprise waiting for me. Fast forward to the fight day, they matched me up with the opponent. Everything's good, game warmed up, gear on. Moments before we're about to step to the cage and they're about to call out my name, I had a surprise coming. My mind started to creep in with last minute doubts. Apparently, little did I know, I carried trauma from my last fight. And I started to think to myself the same stuff that I was thinking last fight. What if I fail? What if I perform the same way as my last fight? What if I embarrass myself? Shadrach. And I couldn't hold this in my mind. I was right beside my coach and I literally turned to him in distress voice like, Coach, I don't think I'm ready. My coach that day did something I'll forever remember and forever grateful for. He turned to me with a very serious stare and he told me this sentence. Your opponent is going to break into your house He's going to hurt your family. He's going to hurt and take what you care about the most. Don't let him. That moment, it's like a switch that flipped in my mind. A realization that now the fight is not about me. It's about something higher than me, something that I love and value the most with my heart. And now I need to fight for it, defend it with all I got. And funny enough, at the same time as I was having this mindset shift, I had this realization. Today, I'm going to die. There's no tomorrow. There's no after the fight. There's no celebration after the fight. There's no hugging my friends after the fight, celebrating, yay. It's only the moment. This is the moment. There's no tomorrow. And therefore, you're going to give it all you got before it's over. So I carried on this mentality towards the fight. And believe it or not, I didn't feel fear. I didn't feel worry. Actually, I didn't think about a lot of things. It was just me, my opponent, and just a bright octagon. There was nothing else happening. The voices of the crowd cheering, muted. I didn't hear them. Didn't even hear my parents cheering, nothing. And so, because of that, with this mentality now, I let my body go. And I flawlessly, actually, I would say that was one of my best performances ever. Because I let my mind go, let my spirit go, trusted the process, and put all the work that I have done for this fight. And I felt sharp. So the lesson from this, years later, I came across a Bruce Lee quote, which explained to a T what I was experiencing that same night. Bruce Lee famously said, he explained the art of dying. He basically said, quote unquote, like everyone else, you want to learn the way to win, but never to accept the way to lose. To accept defeat, to learn to die is to be liberated from it. So when tomorrow comes, you must free your ambitious mind and learn the art of dying. Next fight lesson. This one is a bit interesting one. Very special. This is my 5th MMA fight. I was training hard. I already knew, I proved myself in many fights that I can handle adversity. I can handle challenge, physically and mentally. I can push it to the limit, no doubt. But for that training camp, something special was happening. I didn't just train for a fight. No. That wasn't just a training camp. You see, I don't really speak about it a lot, but a person very close to me in my previous life betrayed me, backstabbed me. Little did I know at the time that betrayal was deep. It was messing with my mind, but with my emotional state. And I had to carry that throughout my training camp. So every time I stepped into the club, getting ready to prepare for the fight, my mind started racing. Why me? Why is it happening now? Why this person? Why everything? Start to question everything. Sometimes I felt like I'm by myself. Nobody understands me. Fighting with my own mind. But then something interesting happened after I spoke with my coach about it, consulting and stuff. This pain inside of your mind and your heart, it's actually fire. It's water. Imagine water streaming through the lake, but with high speeds. Water like that can break dams or can fill rivers. So use that same emotional pain as I was training to prepare for the fight. So every time, after that realization that I was training for the fight, I used the pain in my mind thought about all the people that let me down in the past. I pictured them looking at me. They want me to fail. I won't let them. So I transformed that image and put it in front of me. And I feel this rage and anger, which helped me to push through the fight. Matter of fact, I trained even harder than ever because of that emotional and mental fire inside of me. Fast forward towards fight day, I was more prepared than ever, and let me tell you that my opponent, I didn't give him an easy time. Oh, no, 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 no. This time, I had this fuel inside of me, in addition to my physical preparation. By far one of my best performances yet. Because I let my mental and emotional pain transform into fuel, fire, and channel towards one person, my opponent. So the lesson is here, ladies and gentlemen, please listen. Pain is temporary. It can last a minute, an hour, or even a year. But eventually, it will subside. The most important thing is, are you using this pain in the meantime to work on yourself and improving yourself, to become a better person, a better version than you were ever before? Going forward, my sixth fight. Another story. This fight was very interesting. Subtle, but very important lesson. You see, the training camp for that fight was particularly special because not only I was training hard, super hard, I would say extra, over the top hard. I was putting overtime for this fight camp. I also went to a special event where I had to commit in front of a group of people my goals. Disclose my goals verbally and make a commitment in front of many people. Make a pact with myself. And so, fast forward towards fight day, I had a last minute opponent change. And let me tell you, this opponent was bigger. Way bigger. We're talking about 40 pounds heavier. My coach was worried as well at the beginning, concerned. Didn't know if I would take this news correctly. But what's interesting is that I didn't care. I saw the pictures of the opponent, how big he is, how strong he is, more powerful, definitely. We could talk about Goliath, literally. But I trained so hard for that fight. So hard to the point that I pushed my mind to the point that nothing else mattered. There's no backing down. So I had to accept this fight. Why to back down after all this hardcore training? So we fast forward to the fight day. They call my name to the stage, to the ring, to the cage. I see my opponent, and the crowd can see it definitely. The size disadvantage. Me, David, versus a Goliath. A bigger guy, much more powerful. Little did he know, he was facing a person who was determined. Didn't care about anything. Just wanted to be there, to enjoy his time. Matter of fact, you can see in the fight footage, literally smile the whole time as he's dominating me. If he wanted to dominate me with his power, with his size, in my mind I was like, I'm gonna make him work for it. That's what I had in my mind. And so throughout the whole fight, I made him work so hard that he got to the point of the exhaustion. He couldn't deliver anything properly anymore. And when the final round bell rang, I had a realization about something that I already confirmed about myself. You train so hard to the point that your mind and your body doesn't care anymore about the challenge. It just wants to enjoy this time. Doesn't matter if it's a bigger opponent, smaller opponent, more tools, more knowledge. You're just going to go in. I just enjoy the time. And as for the final lesson, it's one of the most important lessons I had. This is about my amateur MMA debut, my 7th fight. It is a very special hallmark in my life because as I started my fight career, I talked with my coach about how my potential will lead eventually to that moment, the amateur debut. So we were training hard for that fight particularly. The training camp was brutal. The sparring was brutal, but the weight cut even worse. It was draining me mentally, physically, you name it. Little did I know, I thought I was prepared. I thought I was like mentally prepared, physically, best shape of my life. But as fight day approached, I started to feel the adrenaline creeping in. Oh, the adrenaline, because that's a very special moment in my life. So the day before the fight, my coach told me something interesting. Today, no training. Go to the gym, close the lights, set a timer, and meditate. Do a visualization meditation about the fight. And so I did. I went to the gym. I closed the lights, set a timer, and pictured the whole thing going on in my head. From the point where I arrive at the weigh-ins, they call my name to the weigh-ins, to the point where we're wrapping up our hands, getting ready to walk out to the cage. And then I started to picture in my head the fight itself. Every move that I'm about to make, offense, defense, counters. But most importantly, I pictured myself getting my hand raised, winning. How will I win? Knockout? Submission? Decision? And so I carried that towards the fight. I already saw in my head that I'm winning. So I already won mentally. By now you can understand that 99% of the preparation for a fight is in your mind, not the physical part. It's in the mind. Long story short, I'm wrapping my hands. 2 minutes, like 1 minute before they call out my name to the cage, something unexpected happened. Oh yeah, I had this last minute doubt creeping in. This is a very important moment in my life. What if I fail? I'm in an enemy territory now. I'm a visitor. They're all against me. Pressure, pressure, pressure. And it's moments before they called my name. But then, moments before I'm about to head out, with my mind all preoccupied, I remember this one quote from Les Brown that I listened to. Les Brown talked about a quote saying about the deathbed. He said, imagine being in your deathbed, and standing around your deathbed are the ghosts of the dreams, of the potentials, staring at you, telling you, we came for you, for life. You could have given us life. But since you didn't act on them, we must die with you forever. And so at that moment, I remembered this is a very important moment in my life. There's no backing down. I have trained so hard, so long, went through multiple hardships, fights, for this exact moment in front of a lot of people. It's time to perform. So when I mounted the cage, my mind was clear. I was committed now. I remembered that I already visualized the fight before even attending the place. I visualized myself already doing everything in my capabilities to win. It all felt familiar. And so that's one of my best memories because won first round by submission. And it confirmed that what I've been training for was fruitful. So the takeaway, guys, in life, you're gonna get challenges thrown at you. Question is, do you have the mental tools to prepare yourself for these challenges to come up? Are you ready to take these hits and move on from life and improve yourself? Because that's what defining what a real fighter is. Thank you.
So I just want to invite the speakers right now to do a quick Q&A, and then we'll end it off right there. Yeah, so first question I have for like all of you, just in my mind is like, what made you want to become like a coach, or what made you want to teach, in your niche, like what made you want to like move that direction?
Like what made me want to become a personal
fitness
trainer?
coach, yeah, trainer and all that. Like what made you want to go that route and have clients?
Yeah. And I know you're gonna say the same thing.
That's a great answer you had over there. The importance of masculinity, of femininity. We unite and we make a great team together. Now, what inspired me to become a coach? I always wanted to become somebody who people look up to, but in a sense of I can lead them towards a better life, a life where they live happily, fulfilled, accomplished. And the first inspiration that I had was actually my coach, because for my coach, like I was literally like one of his sons. All the fighters that were fighting at the club, they were all part of his family. Sometimes he had sleepless nights as we were training for fights. He literally texts us, "Hey, are you ready? Like I cannot sleep." And this is like literally a second father that I needed, because my coach taught me some very important stuff about life, not just about building a mindset of a warrior, but also have humility, self-respect, and being able to transfer your wealth to others, help people grow. What goes around comes around. So karma will looks at you all the time. The universe always looking at you. If you help people grow, karma eventually will come back and give you flowers because you're doing the right thing. So I always wanted to go down that path. It was always a question of, oh, I need to open a school. Oh, I need to have clients first. Oh, I need to have a team, blah, blah, blah. And I carried this in my head all the time until in college, I had so many people coming up to me, can you teach me? Can you teach me? Can you teach me? There was a demand. People were screaming, they need help. And somebody had to make a move. Nobody seemed to care really. So somebody had to make a move. And then I decided, why wait until I have a school? Why wait until I have X amount of clients lined up at my door with the pamphlets? Can we get a free trial? Yeah. Screw this. I had the demand already. I had the product. I had the will. I had the power. I had the fire inside of me from all these years to transfer and give to the people. And so I did. I started my company and started to change lives for good. And it made me to understand an important thing. By doing this, you create a community automatically. People look up to you, come to you for advice, come to you for help sometimes. Sometimes I had people coming to me with tears in their eyes, on the verge of going up. And I was their only hope. So I believe that any person who has the mental fortitude and the capabilities to lead people need to help and not be selfish. And so by having this great community that we have over here that we're building, thanks to Johnny and all the other speakers, we are creating a big movement where people finally have hope. There is a way out from the dark spot in their lives. There is the light at the end of the tunnel, and we are the light. We are the movement that makes people believe in good. That's what it is.